Hey guys, what's up? I have a new video for you today. It's some steps you need to take to get into software engineering, software development. So I'm kind of like a YouTuber now. I have tons of subs. It's so great. But if you would get a second to like the video, subscribe, and do all that great stuff, hit the bell because of course you want to know when my next stuff's coming up. That would be great. Anyways, to the video. Hey, what's up? James here at DBD Codes. Today I just want to talk about essentially how to take some steps to get into software engineering and software development. I know there's a lot of questions around the internet and a lot of different sources, and I just want to give my 2 cents and input on how to get into the industry. And I guess to give you a sense of why I'm qualified to tell you this. And it's not so that I even feel qualified. It's more so that I've done it a lot. So I feel I have good information to give. I think I have some value. I've worked in many different industries, all related to software development. So I've worked in the video game industry. I've worked in the corporate environment. I worked doing just front end work. I worked doing mobile work. I did mobile hybrid stuff. And now I'm also doing full stack, front and back, day to day. It's Ruby on Rails, MySQL, and React. But yeah, I just have some tips. So I just wrote this down on my monitor, some notes that I have, and then here we go. So education. A lot of people think you have to have a college degree and or go to a boot camp. You don't need either. The only thing with the college degree is, depending on where you apply, I still do think that some places hold the degree higher than it should, and it's kind of like a weed out at certain companies, depending on where you're at. A lot of cool upcoming startups don't even really care about the education, but some other larger corporations and what have you still do care about the degree, unfortunately. But yeah, even so, if you don't have that college degree or if you don't go to a boot camp, it's still completely possible. And there's people I work with and have worked with that do not have degrees, and they're some of the best developers I know. So just keep that in mind when you're applying. So if you've never coded before, what I would suggest is going to Code Academy. Code Academy is free. You can also upgrade, and then I haven't been there in a really long time, but the last time I saw it, it's free completely, and I still think it is free, but then you can upgrade and you can get these project courses, which would be really cool to add to your portfolio if you were to do that. That's the one I highly recommend because it's interactive, and I think it's really helpful to get that quick feedback. Another good source would be Udemy. Udemy's super cool. The courses are always on sale, and essentially you can get like a really, really good course for like $10. Or if the courses are really expensive at the time, you can still find a coupon to make those courses like $10. Another really good option, and you come up with some really cool portfolio pieces on a lot of the courses that Udemy has on software development. So you really got to figure out as well like what part of software interests you. Do you want to do more front end stuff? Do you want to do more back end stuff? But at the end of the day, you really just need to know a programming language, and that should be like your absolute first step, and then kind of figure out what you like. But yeah, like I said, Code Academy and Udemy are really good resources for new programmers and even intermediate programmers looking to learn new things. And then as far as like figuring out what language you want to learn, I know a lot of people say different things like, oh, JavaScript's super crazy right now, or Ruby on Rails, or well, not Ruby on Rails, it'd be Ruby, but learn what you think's cool. Like if you see a language and it interests you, just use that. But at the same time, I would also keep in mind like your area and what languages are popular in your area, and you do that with like a simple Google search, just to see the top programming languages in your area, and then from there you can go into Indeed and do a search and see the amount of jobs that are hiring for that specific language. But at the end of the day, if you're just learning how to program, pick something that you think's cool and that will keep you going, and then from there just learn the basics, and then you can really start hopping around and figuring out, which language you really want to use. So let's see. I think a big thing about getting in software development / software engineering, they're interchangeable, whatever you want to do. I'm going to call it software development here now. So in software development, portfolio projects are really big. Even if you essentially you didn't build the whole thing yourself, like if you followed a tutorial, but there's still value in that tutorial you built because you learned how to do something. So when you show someone your portfolio, if you did it through tutorial, you could say, yes, this was a tutorial, but I changed this and I did this, and it really taught me how to do X, Y, Z. But I'd say portfolio projects are really, really big. It's also really cool to see like someone working on something that's outside of work. And it's kind of a weird stigma with software engineering. A lot of there's a stigma attached that you have to be like always coding outside of work, which I get it and I don't. But yeah, it's cool to see when people have portfolio projects that they do outside of work, just because it shows that you're interested in your craft. I mean, you're doing this for 40 hours plus a week. I hope you really like doing it. Or else I'm not sure why you'd want to be doing it. There's probably a lot of other things you could do. So let's see. Another big thing I'd say is go to meetup and networking events. There's a lot in my area, and they're generally, some free, some you have to pay for. But there's so many companies that go to these, and that gives you that FaceTime automatically. So not to mention you meet some really, really cool people, and if you have any questions, if you ask me questions, I'd be gladly answer them. And there's a lot of people there in the community at these events that are there to help newbies or answer questions and just talk about software development. So it's a really cool place to meet other software developers and find people that are interested in that craft. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of companies there, and it's a good place to network. Let's also go about let's talk about your LinkedIn as well. I don't know, but I believe it's really important to have a decent LinkedIn, just because you never know. It's for my case, I don't use it a ton anymore, but when I was looking for jobs, I loved my LinkedIn because I'd get hit up by tons of recruiters. If you're looking to get in the field, having people messaging you instead of you having it apply is a really cool feeling. So yes, definitely get a decent LinkedIn profile. You don't have to go crazy. Just make sure it looks decent, has your resume, and just a little bit about yourself and what you've done. The next one is your resume. It kind of goes without saying. You need to have a decent resume. It's like any job. It has to be, get a good resume, or not get one, create one. You need a decent one. Let's see. And then when it comes to applying for jobs, don't let the job requirements let you shy away from the job. I would still apply. Now it's weird to say, but you kind of just have to feel it out. A lot of job requirements are really fluffed. But if you're a newbie, right, I wouldn't apply for a senior engineer position because that doesn't make much sense. But just a general or software engineer or junior software engineer, just because you don't think you meet those requirements doesn't mean you can't apply. And it doesn't hurt to apply. It only takes a little bit of your time for a much larger reward in the end, hopefully. So yeah, those are some tips I have. I don't have much else. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm sure there's a lot more. This is what I wrote down and what I wanted to talk about a little bit. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. All right, thank you. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.